Did you know that making pasta at home can be easier than you think? In this video, we'll show you the secret ingredients and foolproof techniques for creating delicious homemade noodles without any fancy equipment. Flour is the backbone of any pasta, but not all flours are created equal. Start with a good quality Italian flour like 00 flour for that perfect texture and flavor. You can usually find it in specialty grocery stores or online. Don't skimp on this ingredient. It's crucial for a winning batch of noodles. Mix the flour on a clean surface, making sure to have enough space around you. It's important to spread the flour out evenly. Create a well in the center of your mound of flour. This is where we'll add our ingredients next. Remember, this flour isn't just any powder. It's key to achieving that al dente texture and smooth surface when you cook your pasta later. For best results, use Italian 00 flour or a blend of semolina and all-purpose flour. The right choice can make the difference between mediocre and magical homemade noodles. Eggs are your secret weapon in making perfect pasta. They add richness, moisture, and that signature yellow hue to your dough. For a classic flavor, use large eggs. They work best for pasta making. Crack 3 large eggs into the well of flour you just created. This number is usually enough for a small batch of pasta, but feel free to adjust based on your recipe and desired thickness. Start mixing with a fork, gently incorporating the flour from the edges of the well. As you go, more flour will come out, forming a rough dough. Keep adding flour if needed until it starts coming together. The magic happens here. Once your dough is formed and not too sticky, knead it for about 10 minutes on a floured surface to develop the gluten and give you that perfect elasticity. For best results, use 3 large eggs. The yolks add color and richness, while the whites help bind everything together. Water is the unsung hero of pasta making, binding all ingredients into a cohesive mass. Start with cold water, as it's easier to mix and less likely to overwork the dough. For every cup of flour, use about 3/4 of a cup of water. Too much water can make your pasta tough. Too little will leave you with a sticky mess. Think of water as the glue that holds everything together. Too little, and you'll struggle to shape your pasta. Too much, and it's like trying to work with Play-Doh. Consider this. In Italy, they use acqua per il macinato, water for grinding, a term used specifically for pasta making water. Now, let's talk about temperature. Cold water is key. Start your pasta dough with ice-cold water to keep the gluten from developing too much. This keeps the pasta light and chewy. But remember, if you're making a specific type of pasta like pappardelle or tagliatelle, which need more structure, you might add a bit more water. A quick tip: if your dough is still too dry after adding the recommended amount of water, consider using a tablespoon of olive oil to help it come together. Just be careful not to overdo it. The dough should be workable but not greasy. The rolling technique is crucial for achieving perfectly smooth, thin pasta sheets. Start by dividing your ball of dough into 4 equal pieces. This makes it easier to handle and prevents the dough from getting too hot as you work with it. Take one piece and roll it out on a lightly floured surface. Use a rolling pin that's about 12 inches long for even pressure distribution. Begin at the center of the dough and gradually move outward, lifting the edges to keep them from sticking. The key is consistency. Apply even pressure with your rolling pin, moving it back and forth in smooth strokes. As you roll, always dust the surface with a light layer of flour to prevent the pasta sheet from becoming too sticky or tearing. Remember, less is more. Too much flour can make the dough tough. Practice makes perfect. If your sheet tears, don't panic, it's normal. Just patch it up with some more flour and continue rolling. Once you've rolled out a thin sheet, you're ready to cut your pasta. For fettuccine or tagliatelle, use a sharp knife or pasta cutter to slice the dough into long strips. For smaller shapes like rigatoni or penne, you can use a knife or a special pasta machine attachment. Finally, let your pasta rest for about 30 minutes before cooking. This allows it to relax and become more pliable, making it easier to cook perfectly al dente. Now that you have your dough, it's time to shape it into the perfect pasta. Start by dividing the dough into small, equal-sized pieces. Each piece will be about the size of a golf ball. You can use your hands or a rolling pin to roll each piece into a thin sheet. Once flattened, you can cut the dough using various tools like a knife, pizza cutter, or pasta machine. If making fettuccine, run the dough through a pasta machine set to its widest setting several times to ensure it's very thin. For tagliatelle, use a bench scraper or a knife to cut the dough into strips about a 1/4 inch wide. You can also create unique shapes like ravioli by placing fillings between 2 pieces of pasta and sealing them with a fork. Just be creative. Make sure your work surface is dusted with flour to prevent sticking, and keep the dough covered with a clean kitchen towel to avoid drying out. With your pasta ready, it's time to cook. Bring a large pot of salted water to a boil. The salt helps flavor the pasta as it cooks. Once boiling, add the pasta in small batches, about 100 grams at a time, to prevent overcrowding. Stir occasionally to ensure even cooking. Check for doneness by tasting one strand. It should be al dente, with just a slight bite in the center. Pasta typically takes between 2 and 6 minutes to cook, so keep an eye on it. Drain the pasta quickly once done, and reserve some of the starchy water to use as needed. Now that your pasta is cooked, it's time to serve. You can toss it with a simple sauce like olive oil, garlic, and fresh herbs, or go for something more elaborate. For a quick meal, mix in sautéed vegetables, shrimp, or a creamy Alfredo sauce. Don't forget the classic pairing, pasta with your favorite marinara sauce. Garnish with grated Parmesan cheese and freshly chopped parsley for that final touch. Now that you know how to make perfect pasta from scratch, try it at home tonight. Subscribe to our channel for more cooking tips, and don't forget to check the description below for a free downloadable pasta making guide. Happy cooking!